Well, hello there, and welcome back to another Pokemon Yellow Solo Runs Challenge. Today we're going to be doing Mew. And before I break down Mew as a whole, I'm going to go ahead and let Past Me summarize how the start of this run is going to go.
So, I had a realization. We have to beat Brock, and the only thing we have to beat Brock is Pound. And then Transform. With Bind. So, yeah. This is going to be fun.
So Mew is going to be a bit different than most of the other Pokemon we have done challenges for and will do in the future. Mew's base stat total in RBY is 500 with a straight 100 across the board in all stats. However, what really sets it apart from any other Pokemon is the fact that it can learn every TM and HM in the game. And while its level up moveset isn't the most amazing other than Psychic at level 40, Mew's starting moveset is going to make meeting Brock literally punching a rock with our bare hands and expecting it to break. Luckily, however, as Past Zeon said, at level 10, Mew can learn Transform, which allows us to beat Brock without over-leveling a ridiculous amount. After Brock, the true versatility of Mew will be able to be shown. As we progress further through the story, more TMs will open and allow us to utilize an ever-changing and diverse moveset for a wide variety of coverage. The only true hindrance is just the lack of TMs early game. Throughout the run, you will see that I take full advantage of being able to change my moveset to any combination, and also that with Mew's 100 base stat total across the board, we can utilize both special attacking moves and physical attacking moves, which will only be amplified once we unlock Sword Stance later in the game. As you saw, we conquered the first rival fight with relative ease in the lab, and now we're making our first stop at the Pokemart. We're going to buy 1 Pokeball, 2 Antidotes and Paralyzed Heals each, and 7 potions. I like to have the extra Antidote and Paralyzed Heal in case RNG isn't too kind to us, especially with past runs having bad RNG take forth. I do also randomly go back and get a Burn Heal just because I had that little bit of extra money. Moving forward, I do believe I'm going to incorporate the Burn Heal into the first Pokemart visit rather than an extra potion, just in case RNG is bad. And then for the catch tutorial, we have Execute. This is the only thing that I actually randomize in the run besides a starter, just because it's fun to look at it. And with that being said, we're going to enter the forest. Inside of Viridian Forest, we're going to have to grind a decent chunk, sadly. My first guess was the range of level 14 to 16 to be able to beat Brock with decent RNG. During this segment, I battled every optional trainer inside of the forest, and I also defeated every Metapod that I ran into as well for easy experience. We also did catch a Pidgey for Fly later, which is sadly cut out with the magic of video editing. And also with that same magic, we're going to go from defeating this bug catcher to Brock's gym. Wow! Just like that, we made it, we're inside the gym. In this run, we are going to fight the junior trainer for just a bit more experience before we attempt to bring down the giant rock snake with a lower attack stat than Poliwag or Oddish. It's going to be a pretty quick fight and have us just enough experience at level 14 before we attempt to take on the rock Caterpie. Jokes aside, this battle with Brock is quite terrifying, especially in an instance where we're trying to speedrun through it and complete the game as fast as possible. Mew's only physical attack is Pound, and we have to save Transform for Onix, which means we have to beat Brock's level 10 Geodude with only a weak physical attack that it resists and hope for critical hits on our end, which avoid resisted damage. We're also hoping to outpace the little Dewdrop in damage to be able to be healthy going into the Onix portion. On attempt number 1, we have decent RNG for the most part. We managed to hit 8 tackles with no misses, as in Generation 1, tackle is only 95% accurate, which if you remember Bulbasaur, missed over a dozen before Misty. Within the 8 attacks on Dewdrop, 3 of them in total hit crits, with the knockout blow being a crit. I mean, at least it's guaranteed there, but it would have been a little bit nicer if we could have got it just a bit sooner. Now comes the fun part of this battle, our kryptonite to our master of all trades. With Onix, we have only one strategy that we can take, and that is to become our enemy. Yes, as Past Zeon said, Transform. Now you may be wondering, if Onix has a lower attack stat than Tadpole, why would we ever want to transform into him? The reason is because Onix is a physical wall, and without any TMs early game, we have no moves that we can teach Mew to utilize in this battle and make it easier. Our best and really only hope to win this battle is to use Screech 3 times to lower Onix's defense to -6, and then once done, deplete the 5 PP we have from Bind, as when we transform, we only get 5 PP of each move. And then we're going to switch to Bide, and hope Onix rolls a few good hits on us to pay back double. As this is a long fight, I won't bore you with the play-by-play, so enjoy the music. So with good RNG, we were able to defeat Brock on our first attempt. I honestly thought it was going to take us several attempts, or at the worst, we would have to level up some more before taking the victory. However, let's go over Mount Moon, which as you saw, finally allows us to acquire our first special move, Water Gun, which I wish we could have gotten before Brock, but I digress. We'll also acquire the potion, rare candy, and the escape rope, and a little extra goodie for our little cannon here, Mega Punch. This is going to give us a much stronger physical move than Pound. We did keep Pound for right now though, and got rid of Transform, as we don't need it for any battles. So going into the next battle, we're going to be facing the Super Nerd. From here going forward, we're going to have a lot better overall density within our moveset, and our main goal is going to be to conserve PP. So as you're going to see within this battle itself, we're going to try to use and alternate between Water Gun and Mega Punch. The one bad thing about Mega Punch, even though it does have 80 base power, is the fact that it only has 85% accuracy, so it can miss. It does have 20 PP, which is much better than Mega Kick, which is 120 base power, and it only has 75% accuracy. But as you can see, we make pretty short work of it. We can almost one-hit KO everything. We did get the lucky critical hit in the beginning, but with the second Mega Punch, we are able to knock out Coughing with relative ease and defeat the Super Nerd. Now, as tradition, we get the Helix Fossil this time, because last time we got the Dome Fossil. Transitioning into the Jesse and James fight, our main goal is going to be to conserve PP as much as possible. Mega Punch, as I said, only does have 20 PP, but it's basically our nuke move right now. It will almost always one-hit KO any Pokemon that it hits, but for those that it doesn't, that's what we have Pound and Water Gun for. Now, the goal is to try to visit the Poke Center as little as possible, and you can see against a Pokemon with a little bit more bulk like Coughing, it takes 2 Mega Punches to knock it out. But with that, we got an easy victory on Jesse and James. So with Mew, what we're going to end up doing is, because I believe we have enough power behind its attacks, as well as the fact we do have Bide, we're going to try to defeat Misty first. Now, we did heal. Depending on how Misty goes overall, we could immediately jump back to the Pokemon Center and get a quick heal, and then go up through Nugget Bridge and fight the rival and everything else along that lines. Or we could just take out Misty. Now, our main course of strategy, as I said, is going to be to use Mega Punch. However, Bide comes in better here. As you can see, we're going to unleash energy and we one-hit KO Starmie. We absolutely obliterated it. And with defeating Misty, we get TM11. TM11 gets us access to a much better special move with Bubble Beam. We're going to immediately teach that to Mew over Bide, because we just have no more use for Bide, and it gives us more PP to use in general for our battles.
So next up on Mew's Path of Destruction is rival number 2. This is a relatively straightforward battle as well. We're just going to try to go through here and switch between Bubble Beam and Mega Punch. Bubble Beam has massive PP with 20, and also Sandshrew is weak to it. However, what we are going to do is when we get to Rattata, we're going to switch to Mega Punch. And the reason why is because while both of them do have 20, we just want to make sure that we have enough PP left to conserve. Mega Punch is enough to one-hit KO Rattata, and then Eevee is going to be able to tank it because Eevee is just a little bit tankier. Of course, Sand Attack hits, but the Bubble Beam does finish it off and gets us an easy victory over rival number 2. So as with all runs, we are going to pick up Charmander. Charmander is going to be our poor HM slave. Sorry, Charmander and any Charmander lovers. And then we're also going to pick up the Ether and the Elixir. I just cut out grabbing the actual Elixir here. And then we're just going to literally pop right over to the Rocket and defeating him. And that's actually going to net us Dig. And what we're going to do is we're going to immediately teach Mew Dig. Now, this is a little bit of a conundrum, because while it is a great TM and gives us extra coverage, we're not going to be able to dig out of everywhere else like we normally would with Charmander. That is the one downfall of this. But the one good thing that we can do is on the SSN, we get to pick up Body Slam, and we get to teach Body Slam to Mew immediately. Now, we are going to get rid of Water Gun, and the reason why is because even though Water Gun does have decent PP, it is relatively weak, and we don't need 2 water moves. We also pick up the rare candy in the cabin, and then we also are going to get the PP restoring item as well, and then we're about ready to start the next rival battle on the SSN. With Mew's wide versatility on its moveset, the biggest limiting factor that we are going to have is PP consumption. We have to pick and choose which of the moves is going to be the best one to use and win. Going through here right now, we have Mega Punch and Body Slam. We want to make sure that we alternate between those and then use Bubble Beams on things like Sandshrew and such that are weak so that we can get them out in one hit guaranteed. On the bulkier Pokemon like Eevee, we're going to have to switch between Body Slam and Mega Punch, and that's just to conserve PP as much as possible. While it may not seem like it takes a lot of time to go heal, if we have to heal 10 or 15 times throughout the course of the run, it will add up heavily overall. With our rival defeated, we're going to actually go on a little shopping trip really quick. This isn't absolutely vital, but I do like to go ahead and do it before Surge, just so I don't forget. We're going to pick up 5 repels this time, and then we're going to end up picking up some super potions. I go for 7 this time, though sometimes it is better to go with more, and then I'm going to go ahead and sell items here. Really, we didn't need to sell, but I did want to try to get out the items out of my inventory as soon as possible, just so it's a little bit easier to go through. Really, at the end of the day, it's not much of a time loss because it's still going to be done, whether we do it now or we do it in Celadon City. But with that being said, Lieutenant Surge is coming up, and then in accordance with the usual rules, because this gym is RNG, we're going to stop the timer and go ahead and save the game. Hopefully this time Surge is a little bit nicer to us, but you will go ahead and see that. With that being said, go ahead and enjoy the music. So in case my little foreshadowing back there didn't really set it off, yeah, RNG was not kind. This took like 7 minutes in real time. It was absolutely ridiculous. I really didn't want to bore you with a coconut monitor because it was so long. Even at 300% speed, it took so long. And Surge is such an easy gym. The only thing that we're gonna do is have Mew use Dig. That's really all that we're gonna do. Like, I wish I had more actual commentary that I could add here, but Surge is just an absolute joke in this run. What isn't a joke, however, with Lieutenant Surge is the fact that we get Thunderbolt for defeating him. Thunderbolt beyond Mew is going to open us up to a wide diversity of type coverage. After we defeat Lieutenant Surge, we're going to go ahead and pick up Squirtle, and Squirtle is going to be our HM slave for using Surge, in case you can't tell. And then we are going to go ahead and pick up the bicycle here because it is faster to take the bicycle route than the long route to Fuchsia City, and it also allows us to get an extra rare candy, which is really good. And now we're going to take a shopping trip into Celadon City. Inside of Celadon City, one of the most vital items that we need to get to begin with are the Pokédolls, and we're going to need 2 of them on this run. One is for Marowak to skip the battle, and the second one is to get Mimic from the girl in Saffron City. Next up on our shopping list are vitamins. This, as you can tell from looking at the menus, was a little bit of a hard decision for me to make personally. Now, with that being said, I am going to explain my reasoning behind what I chose to do and why I chose to do it. I chose to go with protein, and a lot of people may think, wow, why didn't you go and raise special attack? My thought process with this is that Mew is going to not only have Body Slam, but Earthquake, and both of them are physical attacks, which pair perfectly with Sword Stance, which we're going to get in just a little bit. And with our vitamin shopping done, we're going to pick up a fresh water, and we're going to give it to the girl at the top of the Celadon department store so we can get Ice Beam. Next up on Mew's path of destruction to fall is Erica. Erica is going to be a pretty straightforward gym battle, but it could go sideways. Our tactic here is going to be to use a Dig. Now, I learned my lesson the first time and remembered that Tangela is not weak to Dig, so I went ahead and I body slammed it 3 times. We did get lucky and get the paralyzation, but it still went down pretty easily. And then Weeping Bell comes out, and of course, we're just going to immediately use Dig on it, almost one-hit KO it, and then with the second Dig, we'll go ahead and take it out. Pretty straightforward. And then Gloom is going to come out. Gloom's a little bit tankier, but it's nothing that Mew can't handle. And we're going to use the exact same strategy that we used on Weeping Bell. Dig, with the critical hit, we almost win, but because Mew did get the critical hit and did so much, it put Gloom into potion range, so Erica went ahead and used the potion. We go ahead and hit it with another Dig, and that brings it down to almost nothing, and then we use Thunderbolt there to conserve PP. And with that, Mew is able to defeat Erica in sub 1 hour. Next up on our journey, we're going to go ahead and grab the Fly TM, and then we're immediately going to teach this to Pidgeotto. I forgot to highlight that earlier. Don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. It was actually a Pidgeotto, and it was a really good catch.
Oh? Come on. Yeah, for the swag.
With Fly acquired, our next hurdle is going to be defeating the rival in Pokemon Tower. The fight is going to overall be very trivial for Mew at this point with our wide range of moves. We can counter almost anything that the rival does have. However, at the same thing as every other battle, this is going to come down to conserving the most PP at every possible point. For Fearow, we're going to take it down in one hit with Thunderbolt, as you saw. Magnemite, we're going to use Dig. Shelter's also going to go out to Thunderbolt, and then we also still have Bubble Beam for Sandshrew. The only thing that we don't actually have a move to counter is Eevee, and that's because there's no good fighting type moves. However, with 2 Thunderbolts, we are able to take it out and defeat the rival without a challenge at all. With the rival Crush, we're going to go ahead and cut to the top of the tower to the She and James fight. Of course, we did get Marowak with the Pokédoll, that's why I picked the extra one up. So what's going to happen is Meowth is going to come out, and it's going to come down to just using her. I was using a lot of extra Thunderbolts here just because it was our newest move, but it's also because both Weezing and Arbok are weak to dig. So we dig Arbok, and of course is 1-hit KO. Weezing comes out, and then we're also going to dig, and it's going to be a 1-hit KO, just like it was on Arbok. Oh, it's not going to be a 1-hit KO. Oh well. Well, second Thunderbolt goes ahead and takes out Weezing. Just like that, we defeat Jesse and James without any issue at all. Don't mind passing on, he was just checking where the item was coming up. We're going to go ahead and cut to the Safari Zone. So the Safari Zone is a portion of the run where you like to slow down just a little bit, take a small little break, and say, if you are enjoying the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I really enjoy doing these Pokemon challenge videos, and condensing down the footage, which is usually 2.5 hours, to anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes does take a lot of work. I do everything by hand, so if you really do enjoy it, let me know, because I love reading every single comment, and it makes me want to keep working at it. If you see something that I could do better on, feel free to let me know. I always like to know where I can improve. Our next big goal is going to be to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're already a quarter of the way there, but next up is Silphco. Going into Silphco, it's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to immediately go up to get the card key, and that's just so we can traverse through the area as efficiently as possible. Silphco is a very large and complex dungeon with lots of different areas that you can explore. However, since we're trying to do this in a speedrun setting, we don't want to explore. Our only battle is going to be against the Rocket, and of course, we're able to one-shot it. With that being said, we're going to immediately go over and grab the card key, and then we're going to pop over for a quick surprise. Now, this is where this run is going to get a little bit more interesting, where you just picked up Sword Stance. With Sword Stance acquired, we are going to automatically teach it to Mew over Bubble Beam. We really do not have much use for Bubble Beam anymore, and it's a very low PP move. With that being said, we're going to pop up here and grab the rest of the stuff really quickly, which is the Carbos, and then we are going to grab the rare candy, and then of course we're going to grab Earth. Earthquake is going to be just like Sword Stance, and we're going to immediately teach it to Mew, and this will give us close to our final moveset of the run, and we're going to be overriding Dig. There's just really no sense not to, and it's just in time for the next battle. Ah, yes, time for the funnest rival of them all, Rival Fivel. Rival Fivel is the rival that actually amps up the difficulty. However, we do have really good type coverage for his team as a whole, and we have Sword Stance. Sword Stance is going to heavily increase our attack, making it so that everything will one-hit KO unless we get a critical hit. Originally, I was going to be safer than sorry and set up to a +3, however, Sandslash started using Sand Attack, so I went ahead and I cut it at the +4, which is 2 Sword Stance. I could have been a little bit safer and gone for a third one. As you can see, that Thunderbolt was not able to kill, even with the badge boost glitch. However, safer than sorry, if another Sand Attack would have gotten off, it may have actually been enough to change the tide of this battle because of how many times that I missed, which would have led to our first unfortunate reset of the run. But I think we'll be okay even with that confusion, but we keep missing. We're out of PB for Earthquake, and wait, what? Well, here we go again. On our second attempt, the RNG is much, much better with Sandslash. Of course, we go for Sword Stance to automatically set up, and instead of going for Sand Attack, it goes for Poison Sting. Now, Sandslash does get off a lucky poison. Because of this, I decided to be safer than sorry and just go straight for 1 Sword Stance to set up and then take it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the battle because it's pretty straightforward, and I'm just going to go for the kill on every single thing. Enjoy! With the rival defeated, it's now time to start Giovanni. Giovanni will be pretty straightforward. As soon as the battle starts, we're going to have Mew go straight with Sword Stance, and that's because we want to boost up our attack as high as possible. After 2 Sword Stance, we're going to go for 1 more to make it 3, and then Mew is just going to go straight with Body Slam, and we're going to almost one-shot. The only thing is, we got a critical hit, so of course, because that overrides the increase, we did not get the knockout. However, we are going to learn Psychic. Psychic is going to be a really good move, and as you can see, I really struggled with this. It's a really hard decision. With Mew's diversity, it can pretty much learn any great attack. So the question is, what do we delete? After much deliberation, I went ahead and got rid of Body Slam over Psychic. Persian comes out, and then we're just going to straight Psychic it. Now the issue is, because we leveled up, we ended up losing our badge boost from Sword Stance. So we weren't able to get the one shot on Persian, and we were not able to get it on Nidoqueen. However, still a pretty straightforward battle. We're just going to have to use 2 Psychics on Nidoqueen instead of 1. As you can see, it did come really close though, but with that second one, we gained the victory and we're able to defeat Giovanni. Nice. Hopefully we won't see him again. Is that foreshadowing? So after saving and reclaiming Silphco, we are going to make a little pit stop and grab Mimic. I picked this up as a safety net because I didn't know if we were going to use it or not. I just wanted to be safer than sorry. And with that being said, we're going to start the battle with Sabrina. This is going to be fun. In case you can't sense the sarcasm, I'm saying that because our first Pokemon is Abra. And Abra just loves to spam Flash. In case you didn't catch that, its very first move was Flash. Thankfully, we were able to take it out nice and quick. So I went ahead and I wanted to set up on Kadabra. It's a little bit more risky, but by getting set up to max, we should be able to just plow through the rest of the gym. However, Sabrina kind of thwarts me a little bit and uses the next defend, but we're still able to get the one-hit KO on Kadabra. Out comes Alakazam. Alakazam actually gives me a little mini heart attack. I have not seen Psywave do that much damage in forever, but we were able to get out an easy win with Sabrina. And with the Marsh badge acquired and a little bit of extra experience from the battle, we're going to go ahead and head over to Fuchsia City to take on Koga. Once inside Fuchsia City Gym, we're actually going to take on and defeat all of the trainers, and the reason why is because we want to try to get as much experience as possible. Yes, Mew is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. It also has access to Sword Stance, and it has a great boost set. The issue is that no matter how powerful we are, if we're under leveled, it's going to cause us issues long term. But I'm going to go ahead and jump to Koga because you don't want to see every single battle in this gym. So before jumping into Koga, I did have to do a little bit of pre-planning. After defeating every trainer in the gym, Mew was just under level 44. Usually I would set up the badge boost glitch and increase my attack. However, once you level up, everything will reset. So my frame of thought was to knock out the first Venonat with Psychic and then use Sword Stance to set up. However, this Venonat went and used Toxic. So on the fly, I decided to go ahead with just one setup of Sword Stance compared to the usual 3 that I would do every battle. And it actually did play out pretty well with only 1 boost. I was able to one-hit KO everything except for Venomoth, and Venomoth went down to 1 Psychic and 1 Thunderbolt because I ran out of Psychic PP. And then just like that, we beat Koga with an easy win. The question is though, will Blaine go down this easily? But we'll figure that out in just a little bit. First, we need to make a little detour to go shopping. And with this, we're going to pick up Max Repels. I did do a double guess. I should have honestly just bought 8 and been okay with that. And then we have to buy 2 escape ropes. Usually we would have Charmander learn Dig, but because we ended up teaching Mew Dig early game, we of course don't have it anymore because we overrided it with Earthquake earlier in the run. So the escape rope is vital to escape the dungeons quickly. And the rest of Cinnabar Mansion is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to get the calcium, of course, and then we're also going to get the iron, the carbos, and then finish it off with the rare candy. The other items we did skip because we don't need to sell them for extra money to get extra vitamins. But you want to see a magic trick? You're going to like this one. Oh wow, look, we're at Blaine. So cool. Blaine is one of the few gym leaders that is incredibly difficult to beat for most Pokemon unless they're super effective against it, i.e. ground or water type. Fire type in Generation 1 is very powerful, but Mew with having access to Sword Stance and Earthquake makes this fight absolutely trivial. As you saw, we set up on Ninetales with 1 Sword Stance, and then we went ahead and just used Earthquake on it because it did confuse us, and we did the same to Rapidash just to go ahead and knock it out. When Arcanine came out, I did decide to be safer than sorry with a huge level difference and set up 1 more Sword Stance, and then use Earthquake to knock it out in 1 hit. And Mew has claimed the Volcano badge. Blaine was incredibly easy, but I wonder if Giovanni will be just as easy. We're gonna find out now. Going into the battle, I have a strategy already laid out in my head. We do not want to set up on Dugtrio because Dugtrio is extremely dangerous. Yes, the badge boost glitch would allow us to boost our defense up, but Dugtrio is one of the fastest Pokemon there is, and its high speed means that it has an extremely high critical hit ratio. I did end up getting off 1 Sword Stance though, because Dugtrio ended up using Dig turn 1. And with the new improvised strategy, we're going to go ahead and just set up once instead of twice like we were going to do on Persian, and we should be okay. Mew may be at a level disadvantage, but with the 100 base stat total across the board and 1 Sword Stance, it can knock out almost anything in 1 hit with relative ease. And with both Nidoqueen and Nidoking down, Giovanni is going to send out his final Pokemon after we level up to level 50, and we're going to Earthquake it. There was a chance that Rhydon could have survived here with its massive defense, but we were able to pull off the easy win and attain the Earth badge. And looking back, post this run, the Giovanni fight went incredibly well. It could have gone south if Dugtrio would have used Slash and got a critical hit, but it went amazing. And now with the magic of video editing, we're going to jump into the final rival battle before the league, and we're going to use the same mindset that we did with Giovanni. We could have set up on Sand Slash with Sword Stance, however, to be safe, I decided to wait until Execute. This was also a razor's edge, because Execute no Stun Spore and could have put us to sleep. This could have gone incredibly south, and after the very first Stun Spore miss, I decided to go ahead and just use only one Sword Stance. As you can see, Execute does take 2 Psychics to go down regardless, but we are able to blow through Cloyster with a single Thunderbolt, and that experience pushes us up to level 51. Out comes Magneton, and of course we're going to use Earthquake on it, and as expected, it is a one-hit KO. With that, out comes Kadabra, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to Earthquake it again. Isn't that Gen 1, just Earthquake everything? And then out comes Flareon. Flareon, we're going to use Earthquake as well, because Earthquake is king. And with the final blow dealt, we do take victory over the final rival battle before the league. Time to magically teleport to the shop and get some vitamins. So I won't bore you with watching me and listening to me while I sell and buy all the items. We decided to go with 2 calcium, 2 carbos, and 4 iron. The reason why we went with this is because we didn't want to have to save and reload and chance being maxed out on any of the other EVs. This was the best strategy to use, so go ahead and enjoy the music, and I'll meet you when we get up to Lorelei. It's now time to enter the final gauntlet, starting with Lorelei. Lorelei, I had a plan set forward on my head as well. On Dugong, I was hoping that it would go for a rest, and I would be able to set up 2 Sword Stance. I got the first one off, and Bubble Beam hit and dropped our speed, and then I got the second one off, and no rest. I went ahead and went for a third one, and then got hit with a Roar Beam, and also got an attack, so I went ahead with 1 more Sword Stance to help with the badge boost, and then I hit it with a Thunderbolt, and able to knock it out 1 hit easily. And with Dugong defeated, Lorelei is going to send out Cloyster. Cloyster is our heavy defensive tank, however, we do get a critical hit with Thunderbolt, and we're able to knock it out with a single attack. And out comes Slowbro. Slowbro could have been the rock that would have held us down because it can boost up its own special and its defense. However, we were able to knock it out with 1 hit. Just like Jinx goes down with a single hit. The last Pokemon to come out is Lapras. And of course, Lapras is knocked out with 1 hit, and Mew first tries Lorelei without any issues. With Lorelei defeated, our strongest foe appears, Bruno. I don't know how we're going to get through this powerhouse. He's going to be Mew's ultimate battle. Right off the bat, Bruno immediately sends out his first Onyx. Mew goes out. We forgot to heal. Oh no. Earthquake hits, and it doesn't even get a one-shot. We barely survive the rock slide though. We are able to take down Onyx with the second one and level up. Out comes Hitmonchan. We hit it with Psychic and get a lucky 1-hit knockout. Next comes out Hitmonlee. Hit it with Psychic again. Oh, another easy 1-hit knockout. Out comes the second Onyx. We're able to knock it out with 1 Psychic. And with his team in shambles, Bruno sends out his ace, Machamp. I don't know how we're going to be able to defeat this power. Oh, well that was easy. Looks like we're moving on to Agatha. Fun. Memes aside, and I hope you enjoyed the whole Bruno debacle. Agatha is going to be about as easy as Bruno was, and it's because Mew is the ultimate counter to her entire team. We are going to pretty much be able to one-shot anything for the most part. If Mew would have rolled just a little bit better, the first Gengar would have been one-shot, and then we're going to, for a little bit of extra clearance, set up on Golbat just to ensure that we are able to one-shot everything. This battle is the easiest Agatha battle I have ever had. I'm going to let you enjoy the Paper Mario music, and I'll meet you at Lance. We're almost there. Can we get the sub-hour time at 4 times speed?
I know I said I'd see you, Lance, but I am going to cut in a little bit early here. So I took a lot of thought, and by a lot of thought, I mean like 45 seconds, and made an impulse decision. I knew that we were going to need something else to be able to beat Lance. So I went ahead and got rid of Psychic, which is our only stab move, and replaced it with Ice Beam. I was thinking about this a few other times during the run, but this was the most logical decision that we could make. And going into Lance, we have one other decision that we need to make. Do we need to set up on Gyarados, or do we go straight with Mew's powerhouse moveset and try to get the one-hit knockout on everything without setup? I went ahead and chose for the later. And I know that this may seem like a weird decision because every other battle we have set up and most other content creators who do solo runs do set up. However, I was not worried. The only Pokemon that made me a little bit nervous was Aerodactyl, because if we don't one-shot it, which we may not, and of course we did not, it could hit us with Hyper. Luckily in this case though, it didn't get a critical hit, but we got the critical hit and took it down. And now it's time for Lance to bring out his ace, a flying dragon type that's 4 times weak to ice. Yeah, that was a really easy battle. But alas, it's time to get our heart broken and let us know that we were just a little bit too late to be champion. So, to set up for the final rival fight, we are going to use both of our candies. That's going to put Mew up to level 63. And then, after thinking about the TM, I decided to leave the moveset the way that it is. We're going to use the full restore on Mew, and then the elixir to refill the PP, and it's time to start the final battle. Wish me luck, because this battle is going to make Bruno look like a cakewalk. He'll really look like a hiker. Sorry, I just had to pick on Bruno one more time. So starting the final champion battle, it's going to be pretty much the same straightforward strategy that we use every single time. Mew is going to Sword Stance on Sand Slash 3 times to set up and max its stats, and we're also going to boost up every other stat with the Badge Boost glitch. Now, Sand Slash could have gotten critical hits with Slash and actually knocked us out in the 3 turns that it did take. However, that didn't happen. So now it's time for the little mini apocalypse to wreak havoc on the rival. So we use Earthquake on Alakazam, and then as you can guess, of course, it's a one-shot. Executor comes out, so we're going to go ahead and use Ice Beam, and Executor shows off how bulky it is. It's actually able to live in Ice Beam, even from us being boosted. Executor truly was one of the greatest RBY Pokemon to exist. However, out comes Magneton, and we're going to hit it with an Earthquake, and our little Firecracker is able to knock out Magneton in one single hit. Next out is Cloyster. Can Cloyster show off its bulk to see why it was such a good Pokemon? Nope, it's gone. And then out comes Flareon, the rival's final Pokemon. And Flareon is able to get off an absolutely devastating quick attack. However, Mew retaliates with an Earthquake, and it is enough to knock it out. And that officially makes Mew the Pokemon League champion, with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 38 seconds. Not only did Mew clear Pokemon Yellow on the Solo Run Challenge with the fastest time so far, it actually did it with the least amount of resets. Had Mew not gotten screwed over by bad RNG in the one fight that it did a reset, this would have been resetless and would have been arguably a perfect run that the only thing that could be improved on would be the time itself. But maybe in the near future we can come back and give Mew another chance. We have several other Pokemon that we need to run through first, however. But with that being said, you're coming up on the end of the video. I just want to say thank you to everyone who stuck through this far and made it to the end of the video. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed all the little memes that I put inside of it, as well as all the bad jokes. And I really hope that you're able to get a laugh out of a few of them. But it's time for me to officially end the video. Again, thank you so much. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like, comment, and hey, if you want to, feel free to subscribe. It really does mean a lot, and we're almost to 200 subscribers. I gotta think of a special to do for 200 subscribers. Drop a link if you have suggestions. I do have an idea for 1,000, but hey, this has been Xeon97. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!